So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to another tutorial on After Effects CC 2020. In this tutorial, we're gonna discover a few techniques to duplicate our animation, which makes our workflow faster and more efficient. So, I'm gonna start by creating a new project, and then now in new composition, we're gonna stick to the default settings. We're gonna name it Animation Techniques, and I'll just need to make sure that I am working on the standard workflow. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to create a simple shape layer just to do the animation. Again, as I said, I will double click this. Okay, no, it's fine. Double clicked. I'm gonna go here. Quickly just change it to 100%. Oh, sorry, to 100 pixels, not percent. And then I'm gonna move it to that side. And then I'm gonna change its name to red. I'm gonna duplicate this one to another one, and I'm gonna call it blue. Okay, so we're gonna have this Control Alt Home, and then this Control Alt Home, Control Home. Okay, so let's just move that to that side, and let's just move this to that side. We said this is a blue, so we're gonna change this to blue. So first technique, I'm gonna animate the red. I'm gonna try to duplicate my animation from here to here. So the first thing, I'm gonna go to position by pressing the P from the keyboard, turning on the stopwatch, and then just move to any time, and then move it to that side. Okay, so as you can see here, we have an animation. Now we need to duplicate our animation. For sure, you can duplicate the animation to the same shape or to another shape. What do I mean duplicate the animation to the same shape? For example, I have this animation. I want it to wait for some time, and then it goes back all the way around. So what can I do is click the property to select all the keyframes, or select the keyframes by window selecting them, then copy, select the property that you want to paste keyframes into, and then just move timeline and then paste. It's going to be pasted. Sorry. Now we need to now we need to reverse this. So it goes, then it goes backward, it goes forward, then backward. So I'm going to select these. Sorry, I'm going to select the two keyframes, right click, and I'm going to time reverse keyframes. This technique we already learned in previous lessons, physical lessons. So I'm gonna play now. As you can see here, it's a little bit slow. It's not a little bit slow, it is slow. So I'm gonna just move this to 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna wait for 2 seconds, and then 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna move it to another 2 seconds. Now it's gonna be faster. You see, it's gonna wait, and then it's gonna go backward. So this is one benefit of copy pasting the keyframes. Now I need to duplicate the red ball animation to the blue ball animation. So to do this, I'm going to go to the blue ball position. As I said, you have to select the keyframes that you want to copy. If you want to select all keyframes, it's easier to click the property name, because this is going to select everything. Now pay attention what's going to happen when you're going to do this. Copy. There's no need for this. No right click again. Sorry, you don't click this. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna redo. You have to click the position or window select them. Control C to copy, and when you come here and you're gonna paste it, you're gonna see that. Let me move the time to the beginning. You're gonna notice that the blue bell and the red bell now have the same location, because basically you copied the all keyframes for the position property, which means X and Y values, which makes the blue position X and Y values identical. Okay, you see, if you move the timing, if you move it along the timeline, you're gonna see it, it's gonna move. But what if I don't want to change the Y values? I want only the X values to be changed. Then before you do the copy paste thing, you need to click the position and then separate dimensions. Sorry again. And as you can see here, the Y also has an animation, which is not needed basically because you are just moving along X. So I'm going to turn off this. You see, no Y keyframes. I'm going to click this, copy, and I'm going to the position here, separate dimensions, select the X position only and paste. At that time, or this time, you see, we duplicated our animation to another layer. You can try this method with other properties like scale, rotation, anything. You can copy a keyframe from one property or from one layer and copy it to another property or to another layer. Simple and easy like this. This is the first technique to duplicate animation. Second technique is called animation parenting. So again, I will delete the animations. I'm gonna remove this, separate dimensions. For now, animation parenting, as the name implies, I'm gonna create a parent-child or child-parent relationship. So I'm gonna link one layer to another layer. How I'm gonna do this? Again, first I'm gonna create an animation for the red. For the red, I started over. So I'm gonna go to 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna move it to that side. Now if I want the blue to follow the red animation, I simply go to the blue and say red, select red from the parent and link drop down box. So you see there is no keyframe here, there are no keyframes basically here, but still when you move the red, the blue moves with it. So when you parent, or when you link a layer to another layer, it's gonna follow its transformation its transformation properties, including anchor point, position, scale, rotation, and opacity. So if I do any of the not opacity, opacity is not included. So let us see what do I mean by this. So I animated the position. I'm gonna animate the rotation right now, same timing. I'm gonna change this to 180. Now you see the blue ball animated or followed the animation of the rotation, but the rotation is not like the position. It's not gonna follow it only, it's gonna rotate around it. The parent is gonna consider the center of rotation for the child layer. This is very important to be remembered. Okay, I'm gonna show a different example for the rotation, but I'm gonna just show you I was just trying to demonstrate the idea. Scale as well. When you change the scale, I'm gonna make it a little bit larger. You see it also gets larger. So why it gets far away? Because scale as rotation, it is affected by the center point, and since this layer is considered as a center point, it's going to scale and move away from the center point. Okay, as you can see here, it's moving away from the center point. And anchor point, for sure it's going to be affected because all these three, or at least two of them, are going to be, or depends on the anchor point. So again, I'm gonna delete all these animations. I'm gonna move the yellow here, the red here. I'm gonna move the blue. Okay, let me select both of them. And I need to select both of them. I'm gonna select only the red. So you see now. Now when I move the when I rotate the red, the blue is gonna rotate with it automatically, but it's just like it's gonna move around it, and this is very useful in many cases. You see, I'm gonna just move this and I'm gonna rotate it one cycle, and as you can see here, it's gonna be rotated one cycle. Okay, now you can hide this if you want, and you're gonna notice that the circle is rotating around a point one cycle. For sure, you don't have to do parenting to do this, because you can change the anchor point of the shape layer and then you rotate it around a different anchor point. But this is if you want to do animation parenting, which means you need to link a layer to another layer. It has many applications, very useful applications. One of them, if you want to create like a bone structure or a chain structure, you can link one shape to another shape to another shape and then move them to create a chain-like animation. Again, this was the parenting. So we learned two techniques so far: how to copy paste keyframes and how to link layers by making it a child for a parent layer. There is another way to create a child. You don't have to click from this list. The other way is, you see this icon here, your little parent pick whip, you just move it and link it to this. So you move it and drag it to the layer that you want to act as a parent for the selected one. And now this is a child of red, or red is a parent of blue. Both the same thing. So the other method and the last method that we're going to discuss today in this lesson is called pick whip expression, which basically relies on expressions, as the name implies. And this is more general because it's not going to affect anchor point, position, rotation, scale only. It's going to affect anything. You can link any property to any property, from any layer to any other layer. Let me show you how. Again, I'm going to use the same example here. Animate, and then move to the other side. I'm going to press U. You see I have already a rotation keyframe. I don't need it for now. Now what about this? I'm gonna link it. This time I'm gonna use pick whip expression. To activate the pick whip expression, or to be able to use it, you have to click the watch while you are holding the Alt key. So I'm gonna press Alt and click. You see it's gonna transform location. So you can type the code that's gonna link the blue to red, or you can just drag this to the property that you want to link to. So click, you see here this comp. If you are familiar with JavaScript, it's gonna be you're gonna understand this. So this comp, which is this composition dot layer of red, so this red layer dot transform dot position. Sorry, not this layer, this red layer, because there is an equal here. It means equals that. You don't need to have skills in programming to be able to do these simple pick expressions, because you can just drag it from here to any property that you want, and that's it. You press enter, and now when you move, you see it is linked with it. But where is it? Again, the same problem that we had when we copy pasted animation. Since you linked the whole position, you linked both values, and you can see here you can do it using programming, or we can undo, and again we do the same thing that we did before. I separate the dimensions. I don't want to go through programming in this tutorial, maybe in other tutorials. So I'm gonna alt click and I'm gonna drag it to the X position only, and you see you are gonna follow it. Okay, even though the blue was here when you started it, but this code will make the X value of X identical to the X value of of blue identical to the X value of the red. Okay, and as I said, you can basically link this to any property. You can link any property to any other property. Okay, like, what do I mean by this? Let me show you. let me show you some other example. So I'm gonna just alt click again to delete the animation, and I'm gonna delete this animation, and there's no need to separate dimensions. Now I'm gonna work with other property. So I will just put the circle here, okay, and I'm gonna animate the rotation again. I'm gonna click this, and I'm gonna move it, and I'm gonna change. It's one cycle. Let's just click. I'll make it one cycle. Now I'm gonna put this here, okay. I'm gonna go to the scale this time. I'm gonna try to link different properties together. Is it possible? Let us see. Alt click, hold Alt and click the stopwatch, and then I'm gonna drag the pickup expression to the rotation, not to the position, because there is no animation in position. Anyway, you can link it and then you add the animation later on. This is also possible. We are gonna have a dedicated tutorial for pickup expression, okay, later on. So you see now, I am gonna press enter. What happened? Why it disappeared? Because the value of rotation starts with 0, so the scale is going to be 0, and then it's going to increase as the circle rotates. You see, you're not seeing it rotating to just make it more visible, or let's say you can see it rotate more. I'm going to go to the path, I'm going to make it an ellipse, okay, so you can just see the rotation thing going on. I'm going to hide everything again. You can select both layers and press U, and you see here, consider this like a wheel. You want to rotate it in order to do something, so it's gonna, you see, it's gonna affect the scale. So the scale value is gonna change from 0 to 360 based on the rotation, and you can link position to rotation, position to opacity, or anything else. Okay, you can do whatever you want. Anyway, I said it's programming, so basically you can let me go to the scale. With you it's not going to work because it's not an animated keyframe really. You can just come here and do anything. For example, you can change the Y scale or the X scale, and you multiply it by 1.2, for example. Okay, I'm gonna press enter. So it's gonna do this time. You see, it's not gonna scale uniformly because it scales more around or along x-axis. Okay, you can make it more visible by making it multiplied by 2, and then you press enter. You see now it's gonna scale that way. So this is the pickup expression. It's a very handy tool, very useful. And again, as I said, we are gonna have other videos on pickup expressions. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much, and see you in the next tutorial.